There is a thought you have not said out loud tonight. Maybe you have not said it out loud in a very long time. It is small at first. It waits until the room is quiet. It waits until the light is off, until the phone is face down, until the day has finally stopped asking things of you. And then, in that first soft dark, it rises. The tension you pretend isn't there. The version of the conversation you keep replaying, editing, trying to win, even though it is already finished. The thing you did that you have never told anyone. The thing someone did to you that you have folded up so small it fits in your chest like a stone. You are not broken for carrying this. You are human. Every human being who has ever lain down in the dark has carried something they did not show the daylight. This is not a flaw in you. This is simply what it means to have an inside as well as an outside. Tonight, we are not going to fight that thought. We are not going to push it back down into the dark and pretend it isn't knocking. Instead, we are going to do something gentler, and in the end, far more powerful. We are going to let it come forward, slowly, safely, in the presence of a calm and steady voice, and we are going to watch it change shape. This is what the old psychologists called shadow work. Not a performance, not a confrontation, a quiet meeting in low light with the parts of yourself you have been asked by the world, by your family, by your own fear to leave outside the door. Right now, as your body settles into the mattress, as your shoulders begin their slow drop away from your ears, you are approaching a very specific threshold. Psychologists call it the hypnagogic state, the narrow gate between waking and sleeping, where your thinking becomes lighter, less rigid, less defended. Your inner critic, the part of your mind that guards and judges and organizes and controls, begins very gently to step aside. In this gate, the mind is unguarded. It is soft. It is ready to reshape itself. This is not a dangerous place. It is, in fact, one of the... Before we go further, I want to give you something to carry with you into this journey. A small act of intention. A signal to your own subconscious that you are ready. If you are willing, take a slow breath now, and in the comments below, simply write, "I am ready to see my shadow." You do not need to explain what that shadow is. You do not need to justify it, defend it, or describe it to anyone. Just let those words be a marker, a small stone placed at the entrance of the cave, so that some part of you knows, tonight, I stopped running from myself, even if only for 2 hours. Let your eyes soften now, even if they are already closed. Let your jaw unclench. Let your tongue rest heavy at the bottom of your mouth. There is nowhere else you need to be. There is nothing else you need to perform. For the next 2 hours, your only task is to listen, to breathe, and to let whatever rises, rise. We think of the shadow as something frightening because we have only ever met it in the dark, alone, unprepared, ambushed by it in the middle of an argument or a sleepless night. But the shadow is not your enemy. It is simply the unlit side of the moon that is you, the same substance as the lit side, only turned away from the sun. Tonight, we turn toward it, slowly, together. I want you to notice, right now, wherever tension is gathering in your body. Perhaps it is in your jaw. Perhaps it is behind your eyes. Perhaps it is a tightness low in your stomach, a coiled spring that has been coiled for years. You do not need to release it by force. Just notice it. Naming it is the first unlocking. This is practical medicine for the modern mind. Not mysticism, not magic, but the quiet architecture of psychological integration, translated into a voice low enough, slow enough, steady enough, to walk beside you all the way down. Over the next couple of minutes, we will walk through 4 movements. First, we will lay the foundations, the map that the psychologist Carl Jung drew of the human psyche, so that when we meet the shadow, we know what we are looking at. Second, we will sit with the shadow itself, gently, without flinching, learning what it means to make the darkness conscious instead of merely dreaming of the light. Third, we will borrow wisdom from other traditions, the old Stoics and the Buddhist teachers, who each, in their own language, discovered how to lay heavy things down at the end of a day. And finally, in the last movement, we will descend slowly, steadily, into stillness itself, until the mind becomes once more a calm place to rest. There is no task to complete here. There is no test at the end. You do not need to remember anything I say. In fact, it is better if you don't try. Let your listening be loose, the way you'd listen to rain on a roof. Present, but not gripping. If your eyes are not yet closed, let them close now. If your breath is still high in your chest, let it drop, slowly, into your belly. In and out. Part 1. Jungian Foundations. To understand the shadow, we first have to understand the house it lives in. So let us walk, slowly, through the architecture of the psyche, as the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung came to understand it. Not as a diagram on a page, but as a living structure, the way you might walk through the rooms of an old house at night, candle in hand. Jung spent his life studying dreams, myths, and the strange symbols that appear again and again across cultures that never met each other. The same serpent, the same wise elder, the same great flood, showing up in stories told on opposite sides of the world. He came to believe that beneath our personal memories, beneath the things that happened only to us, there lies a deeper layer of the mind, one that we do not create individually, but that we inherit simply by being human. He called this layer the collective unconscious. Picture, if you will, an ocean beneath the ocean. Your personal unconscious, your private memories, your forgotten birthdays, your own particular wounds, floats near the surface like a small boat on visible water. But beneath that boat, beneath that visible sea, there is a much older, much deeper current, one that every other boat, every other person is also floating upon, whether they know it or not. This deep current is made of patterns. Jung called these patterns archetypes, not specific memories, but shapes, templates, roles that the human story tends to fall into again and again in every culture, every era, every language. Let us meet a few of them now, not as abstract theory, but as figures, the way they might appear if you closed your eyes and let your imagination wander into an old forest at dusk. There is the wise old man, the figure who appears in stories as the mentor, the sage, the one who arrives just when the hero is lost, holding a small piece of knowledge that changes everything. You have felt this archetype stir in you whenever you have craved guidance, whenever you have wished quietly for someone older and calmer to tell you that you are on the right path. There is the Great Mother, the archetype of nourishment, of unconditional holding, but also in her shadow form of smothering and devouring. She is the earth that grows the wheat and the earth that swallows the seed. You have felt her in every moment you longed to be taken care of, and in every moment you feared losing yourself inside someone else's care. And there is the hero, the archetype of the one who leaves the familiar village, crosses into the unknown forest, faces the dragon, and returns changed. This is not only the figure in the myths and the films. This is the shape your own life takes every time you choose to face something difficult instead of turning away from it. Tonight, in fact, by choosing to look toward your own shadow instead of away from it, you are quietly stepping into this very shape. These archetypes are not costumes we put on. They are more like riverbeds, old grooves worn into the landscape of the human psyche, which the water of our individual lives naturally flows into, again and again, whether we notice it or not. Now let us speak of energy, what Jung, following an older tradition, called libido. Not merely sexual energy, as it is sometimes narrowly understood, but the whole current of psychic life force. The energy that moves you toward what you desire, what you fear, what you avoid, what you obsess over. This energy is not infinite in its expression. It flows, and sometimes it gets stuck. When it gets stuck, Jung said, it forms what he called a complex, a cluster of thoughts, memories, and emotional charge gathered around a single theme, operating almost like a separate small personality inside the larger personality. You know a complex is active in you when a small, seemingly ordinary comment from someone lands in you far too heavily. When a passing remark about your work, your body, your worth sends a wave of anger or shame through you that feels disproportionate to the size of the comment itself. That disproportion is the signature of a complex. It is energy that got stuck somewhere long ago, in a childhood moment, in a repeated pattern, in a wound that never fully closed, and it has been quietly running its own small operation ever since, just beneath the surface of your conscious will. You do not need to hunt down every complex tonight. You do not need to solve your entire history before you are allowed to rest. Let us stay a little longer in this hallway before we move on, because there is more to say about these archetypal figures, and the slow pace of tonight allows us the room to say it properly. Consider for a moment the shadow archetype itself, not yet the deeply personal shadow we will explore fully in the next movement, but its larger, more universal form, the archetype of the rejected twin, the dark double, the figure who appears in myth after myth as the brother left behind, the sibling not chosen, the villain who is somehow never quite fully evil, only ever fully unacknowledged. You will find this figure in old stories from every corner of the world. Two brothers, one favored, one cast out. Two forces, one called good, one called evil, locked in an eternal dance that neither can escape because neither can exist without the other. Light needs dark to be visible. This is worth sitting with for a moment. Your own difficulties, your own inner conflicts, are not proof that something has gone wrong with your life. They may, in fact, be the very shape of your particular journey, the specific dragon assigned to your specific version of the hero's path. Every path has one. No one arrives at wholeness without first walking through what felt, at the time, like an obstacle rather than a gift. There is also the archetype of the anima and the animus, the inner figure of the opposite psychological quality within each of us. Jung believed that within every person's psyche lives an inner figure carrying qualities the surrounding culture may not have permitted them to develop consciously, a kind of inner companion, sometimes appearing in dreams as a mysterious figure who guides, tempts, challenges, or simply walks alongside the dreamer through unfamiliar territory. You do not need to remember any of these terms precisely. What I want you to take from this is simpler. Your inner world is populated. It is not an empty, silent room. It is closer to a theater, full of familiar characters who have been rehearsing their parts across your entire life, some in the spotlight, some waiting patiently in the wings for their scene. Let us speak a little more, too, about complexes, because understanding them fully will make the next movement of tonight's journey, the meeting with the shadow itself, much gentler, much less frightening than it might otherwise be. A complex, remember, is a cluster of energy, memory, and feeling gathered around a particular theme. Jung sometimes described complexes almost as small, semi-autonomous personalities living within the larger personality, which is why, in the grip of a strong complex, people often say things like, "I don't know what came over me," or "that wasn't really me." In a sense, they are right. In that moment, a complex has temporarily taken the driver's seat from the ego, running its own old, well-worn program. The work of individuation, then, is not the work of eliminating complexes. They cannot be eliminated, only understood and slowly, gently integrated. The work is closer to a kind of befriending, getting to know the small personalities living inside you, learning their names, their triggers, their origins, until they no longer take the wheel without your knowledge and consent. Let your breath continue its unhurried rhythm now. In slowly, out slowly. There is nothing to solve tonight. There is only this soft unfolding, this slow walk through rooms that have always been part of the house, whether visited or not. Now we come to the great project of the psyche, the slow work that Jung believed every human being is called toward across the whole of a lifetime. He called it individuation. Individuation is the process of becoming who you actually are, not who you were told to be, not who was easiest for your family, not who was safest for your childhood environment, but the whole integrated person underneath all of that conditioning. Jung believed the psyche has a center that is larger than the ego, larger than the small conscious I that manages your daily decisions and worries about your reputation. He called this deeper center the self, with a capital S, to distinguish it from the smaller, everyday self. The self is the whole of who you are, light and shadow together, conscious and unconscious together, the parts you show the world and the parts you have hidden, even from yourself. Individuation is the long, slow movement of the ego toward the self. It is not a straight road. It circles. It doubles back. It often moves through exactly the parts of ourselves we would most like to avoid, which is precisely why the shadow, which we will meet fully in the next movement of tonight's journey, is not a detour from this process, but one of its most important roads. Think of your psyche tonight as a great house with many rooms. Some rooms are lit, familiar, furnished with the parts of yourself you show at work, with friends, at family gatherings, the reasonable one, the competent one, the kind one, the one who has it together. But there are other rooms, rooms with the doors closed, rooms you walk past quickly, rooms you have perhaps convinced yourself do not exist at all, though you can still feel, faintly, that there is space behind those doors. Individuation is the slow work of walking through the whole house, not to redecorate it, not to tear down the walls, but simply to know it, to hold the whole floor plan in your awareness, lit rooms and dark rooms together, so that you are no longer a stranger inside your own home. Let your breath continue, slow and low, in through the nose, out through the mouth if that is comfortable for you. There is no urgency here. The house is not going anywhere. The rooms will still be there, whether you visit them in a rush or at this unhurried pace we are moving at now. I want to say something simple, and I want you to let it settle into you the way a stone settles to the bottom of still water. You are not required to be only light. You were never required to be only light. The people who needed you to be only light who could not tolerate your complexity, your anger, your grief, your appetite, your ambition, your need. Those people were speaking from their own limitations, not from the truth of what a human being actually is. A whole human being contains multitudes, as the old poet said. A whole human being has weather, storms as well as clear skies. Tonight, we are not trying to eliminate the storms. We are simply learning to recognize them as part of the same sky. As we move now toward the second part of this journey, I want you to imagine the house of your psyche one more time. Picture yourself standing in a hallway, lit softly, warm underfoot. Ahead of you, there is a door that has always been slightly ajar, the one you have never quite closed all the way, and never quite opened all the way either. You do not have to open it yet. Just notice that it is there. Notice that some part of you has always known it was there. Let your body grow heavier now, sinking further into the bed beneath you. Let your breathing continue its slow, easy rhythm. We are going to rest here a moment in this soft hallway of the mind before we step gently toward that door. Part 2. Deep Shadow Integration. We are standing now at that door. Soft light behind us, unknown dark ahead. Let your hand, in your imagination, rest on the handle. You do not need to open it quickly. You do not need to open it at all if some part of you says, "Not yet." But let us simply speak for a while about what tends to live behind doors like this one, so that when you are ready, you will recognize it not as a monster, but as something far more familiar. Something that has, in fact, been you all along. Jung defined the shadow simply, though its simplicity conceals an enormous depth. The shadow is the sum of everything about ourselves that we have refused. This is one of the oldest observations in depth psychology. What we cannot tolerate in ourselves, we tend to see and condemn in others. The person who cannot forgive their own ambition will often resent ambitious people. The person who cannot allow themselves rest will often judge those who rest as lazy. This is not because those other people are always wrong, but because the intensity of our reaction is a signal, pointing us back toward our own unlit rooms. Tonight, I do not want you to hunt for your flaws. That is not the same work. Shadow work is not self-punishment dressed up in psychological language. It is something gentler and ultimately more freeing. It is simply turning the light toward what has been dark, without flinching and without judgment. The way you might finally walk into a cluttered room you've been avoiding, not to burn it down, but to see what's actually there. Often, what's there is far less frightening than the anxious feeling of avoiding it. A cluttered room, once the light is on, is just a room. It is the not looking that keeps it monstrous. There is a phrase Jung used that I want to offer you now, because I think it is one of the most important sentences in all of depth psychology. He said that people would do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul, and that one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Let that sit with you for a moment. We are so often taught that spiritual growth, that healing, that self-improvement means becoming more positive, more light, more radiant, more relentlessly upward-facing. And there is a place for that. But Jung is pointing towards something deeper and, frankly, more honest. He is saying that the growth that actually changes you, not the growth that merely decorates you, comes from turning toward what is difficult, not away from it. Imagining figures of light is easy. It costs nothing. Making the darkness conscious costs something. It costs the comfort of pretending, the comfort of the mask, the comfort of being. This pattern is closely connected to what has sometimes been called the puer aeternus, the eternal youth, or what more casual language today might call the man-child or eternal adolescent psychology, though this pattern is not limited to any one gender. It is the psychic tendency to remain in potential rather than commitment, to keep every door open rather than walk fully through one, to imagine 100 possible lives rather than build one actual life, because building one actual life means accepting its limits, and accepting limits can feel, to this part of the psyche, like a kind of death. If any part of what I am describing resonates with you, I want you to receive it without shame. This pattern usually forms for a reason, often a home where commitment was modeled as dangerous or disappointing, or where a parent's own unlived life quietly pressed itself onto the child, whispering, unconsciously, "Live the life I could not live." These patterns are not moral failures, they are adaptations. You do not need to answer this tonight. You do not need to solve it before you sleep. Just let the question rest in you, like a seed pressed gently into soil. It will do its own quiet work while you rest. There is a particular way the shadow tends to reveal itself in daily life, and I want to walk through it slowly with you now, because recognizing it is one of the most practical tools shadow work has to offer. It is called projection. When a quality we cannot accept in ourselves becomes too heavy to carry consciously, the psyche often finds a clever, if unconscious, solution. It locates that same quality out in the world, in another person, and reacts to it there instead, usually with far more heat than the situation seems to warrant. Think of the last time someone irritated you far more than the moment seemed to call for. Not the times when your anger made obvious sense, someone genuinely wronged you and anger was the appropriate response. I mean the other times. The times a stranger's tone of voice bothered you disproportionately. The times a coworker's confidence read to you as arrogance. This does not mean you must become exactly like the people you admire. It means simply that admiration this intense is rarely only about them. It is often a mirror, held up at a particular angle, showing you a version of yourself you have not yet dared to live into. Let us walk a little further into the specific terrain of the provisional life, because there is more here worth understanding slowly at this unhurried hour. The provisional life often shows itself not through dramatic events, but through small, repeated postponements. The relationship kept casual because naming it fully feels too permanent. The creative work kept as a hobby because calling it a vocation would mean it could actually fail. The home never quite fully decorated, never quite fully settled into, because settling in would mean admitting this is, in fact, a real chapter of a real life, rather than a waiting room before the real life begins. I want to be very clear about something here, because this teaching can easily be misheard as criticism, and that is not its intention. There is no shame in having lived provisionally. Many people carry this. There is an old idea, found in Jungian thought, that what we don't face in ourselves, we often end up living out unconsciously, sometimes even living out on behalf of our own children or the people closest to us, who absorb the unlived life like a kind of inheritance they never asked for. Facing your own shadow, then, facing your own unlived potential, is not only a gift to yourself, it is a way of interrupting a pattern before it quietly passes to someone else. Let us return once more to the breath. In, slowly, for 4 counts. Out, slowly, for 6. Let your whole body soften a little further with each exhale. The muscles around your eyes, the muscles in your jaw, the muscles across your forehead you may not have even noticed were tense until just now. I want to offer one more piece of this movement before we return to the Stoic teaching of the open hand. A small, quiet practice you can use any time you notice a strong reaction. Sometimes nothing arises. That is fine too. The question itself, asked sincerely and without urgency, begins to loosen the grip of the complex, even before an answer arrives. The way simply naming a feeling out loud, even without understanding it fully, often makes it noticeably lighter to carry. Now, let us bring something older into this room with us, a teaching that arrives not from Vienna or Zurich, but from Rome, from the marble halls and quiet studies of the Stoic philosophers, who also, in their own way, understood something about the shadow long before Jung gave it a name. The Stoics taught what is sometimes called the dichotomy of control, the simple, clarifying recognition that some things are within our power and some things are not. Our judgments, our intentions, our responses, our efforts, these are ours. But other people's opinions of us, the outcomes of events once we have done our part, the past, the future, the actions of others, these are not ours, no matter how tightly we grip them. And here, tonight, I want to bring this teaching into the dark, into the specific hour when this grip tends to tighten the most, the hours just before sleep, when the mind, freed from the day's distractions, often turns its attention toward exactly the... Notice, if you can, where in your body this grip lives tonight. For many people, it lives in the hands, a subtle clenching, even while lying still. For others, it lives in the stomach, or the chest, or the throat. Wherever it lives in you, I want you to imagine it now as an actual hand, your hand, wrapped tightly around something. Perhaps around a rope, perhaps around a stone, perhaps around the edge of a table. Whatever it is holding, it is something outside of you, something that was never actually yours to hold in the first place. And now, slowly, there is no need to rush this. Let that hand begin to loosen, finger by finger. Not because the thing it was holding no longer matters, but because holding it tighter has never once changed it. The outcome you cannot control will unfold exactly as it unfolds, whether your hand is clenched around it or open beside it. The only difference the clenching makes is in you, in your jaw. So tonight, as we sit at this threshold together, I do not want you to imagine only difficult things behind that door. I want you to imagine also the parts of you that are simply too alive, too bright, too much for the smaller shapes you have learned to fold yourself into. Those too are shadow. Those too are welcome to step forward tonight in this safe, dim room where nothing is required of them except to be seen. There is nothing to fix right now. There is nothing to decide. Let your breath continue its long, slow rhythm. In for 4 counts, if you'd like to count. Out for 6. In for 4. Out for 6. Let each exhale carry a small piece of the day's held tension out and away from you, like a wave slowly pulling back from the shore. Whatever has come forward for you in this movement, a memory, a feeling, a name, a face, an old ache, or simply a diffuse sense of something loosening, you do not need to hold on to it. You do not need to analyze it or resolve it. You have only to let it be witnessed, once, gently, by the same calm awareness that is listening to this voice right now. That witnessing is the whole of the work. The integration happens quietly, on its own, the way a bruise heals, whether or not you watch it happen. Let your body sink further now, heavier, warmer. There is enormous relief available in that single sentence, spoken honestly. Not the relief of pretending nothing happened. That relief is thin and temporary. But the deeper relief of no longer fighting the fact that it did. Let us sit a little longer with the teaching of the 2 arrows, because there is a particular refinement worth adding here, one that the old teachers were careful to include, and one that matters especially at this hour of the night. Refusing the second arrow does not mean suppressing the first one. This distinction matters a great deal. Some people, hearing a teaching like this, mistake it for an instruction to stop feeling, to skip past the pain entirely, to arrive quickly at some performance of peace that hasn't actually been earned. That is not what is being asked of you tonight. The first arrow, the plain fact of the pain, is allowed to be fully felt. Grief is allowed to be grief. Disappointment is allowed to be disappointment. What we are releasing is only the second.
Tonight, let the debate end. Not because you have lost it, but because you are setting it down, the way you might finally stop arguing with weather. The rain does not care that you believe it shouldn't be raining. It simply rains. And the wisest response to rain, the old teachers agreed, across every tradition we've touched tonight, is not a debate about whether it should be raining, but the simple, practical question: how do I want to hold myself right now in the rain that is actually falling? Let us return to the desk we cleared earlier, because there is one more layer of that practice worth including tonight. Beyond the unfinished tasks, the unanswered messages, the small, loose threads of an ordinary day, there is often a deeper layer of mental residue, the residue of identity, the quiet, tiring effort of having been someone specific all day, the employee, the parent, the friend who always shows up steady, the person who has it together.
Let the roles slide off now, the way a heavy coat slides off tired shoulders once you're finally home, finally safe, finally alone, with no one left to perform for. The employee sliding off, the parent sliding off, the friend who always shows up steady sliding off, if only for these 2 hours. What remains underneath all of it is simply you, plain, unadorned, and entirely enough, exactly as you are, without a single role attached. Let us return once more to gratitude, because there is a particular Stoic version of this practice worth adding, one that pairs beautifully with the Buddhist teaching we've already explored. The Stoics practiced something they called negative visualization. This is not meant to minimize your struggles by comparison. Your pain is not made smaller by someone else's larger pain. That is not how suffering works, and that comparison is rarely helpful. It is meant instead to widen your awareness enough to notice that alongside whatever is difficult, there is also, quietly, remarkably, still functioning, breath, warmth, a mind capable of listening to a voice in the dark and finding, even now, some thread of comfort in it. Now let us turn to a practice I will call dream minimalism, a phrase that captures something both traditions we've walked through tonight would recognize: the clearing away of mental residue before sleep, so that the mind does not carry the clutter of the day down into the dreaming hours with it. Think of your mind right now as a desk at the end of a long workday. Papers everywhere, half-finished notes, open tabs. So let us clear the desk now, together, one slow sweep at a time. Picture, gently, anything left unfinished from today. An email unanswered, a decision undecided, a conversation left hanging. You do not need to finish it now. You only need to set it down, deliberately, in a drawer that will still be there tomorrow. Nothing is lost by setting it down tonight. It will keep. It has always kept, every night before this one, and it will keep tonight too. One by one, let each unfinished thing settle into that drawer. The email, the decision, the conversation, the worry about tomorrow's schedule, the stray thought about something you said 3 days ago that you're still turning over. Into the drawer, into the drawer,
into the drawer. Notice how much light.
Gratitude does not deny the wound. It simply widens the stage again, so the wound can be seen for what it actually is. One true thing among many true things, not the only truth. So let us widen the stage together now. Without forcing anything, without searching hard, simply let your mind drift loosely across today and notice, is there a face that brought you a moment of ease? A texture? A taste? A small comfort? A moment, however brief, when your body felt, even faintly, all right. You do not need a large thing. The old traditions teach that gratitude practiced on small things is in fact more powerful than gratitude reserved only for large ones, because small things are abundant, available every single day, while large things are rare. A warm blanket, a working pair of lungs, a voice right now keeping you company in the dark. These are not small things when you actually look at them. We have only been trained to consider them small because they are common. Let this widened stage rest in your awareness for a moment. The wound is still there. We have not erased it, and we do not. Final descent. Internal stillness. We have walked a long way together tonight. Through the halls of the collective unconscious, past the old archetypes standing quiet in their doorways, through the threshold of the shadow itself, where we did not flinch from what waited there, only witnessed it, gently, and let it be known. Through the wisdom of the Stoics, opening a clenched hand, through the wisdom of the Buddha, laying down the second arrow. Your heels heavy, resting. Your legs heavy, resting. Your lower back heavy, resting. Your shoulder blades heavy, resting. The back of your head heavy, resting. This is what it means to let the body become an. The shadow you turned toward tonight has not been erased. That was never the goal. It has simply been welcomed, witnessed, given a seat at the table instead of a locked door in a dark hallway. It will still be part of you tomorrow and the day after, and every day after that, because it is not separate from you and was never meant to be. But it is, tonight, a little less heavy for having been seen. The mind is now a calm place to rest. Not because everything has been solved, not because every question has been answered, but because, for tonight, nothing more needs to be done. Nothing more needs to be carried. Nothing more needs to be figured out before you are allowed to close your eyes fully and let the current take you. All things rise and fall. Tonight, gently, softly, without any effort at all, you fall too. Rest now.